A very good afternoon. I'm Ria Rambley and welcome to the Midday News here on CNC 3. Also heard on the TBC radio network. Top of the news at this time. Opposition leader Dr. Keith Rowley wants the Prime Minister to call a general election now. Dr. Rowley's call comes in the wake of the PNM capturing 8 out of 14 corporations in the local government elections. Dr. Rowley is now mobilizing his supporters for a general election. We have more from Chester Sembrano.
The passion and excitement etched on the faces of these PNM supporters after their victory at the local government election polls on Monday. It was always going to be a long night. These supporters sat waiting on results to come in. But it wouldn't be as long as expected. Soon, word came that the party was heading to victory in several corporations. Shortly before 10 p.m., a music truck started what we can term a street party in front of Balize House. Opposition Senator Fitzgerald Hines leading the celebrations.
When I was a boy, I used to spin top, but you need a long twine to spin a big top like that. The Prime Minister is trying to spin humiliation into something I couldn't understand. We have won this election.
The congratulations were all around.
Lavantil stays PNM. Lavantil East, Lavantil West. Lavantil.
And the PNM flags were flying higher than usual. And now, a message to the Prime Minister.
It means that we are on the way to winning the general election. As a matter of fact, if the government really cares for the people, as the Prime Minister diatribe attempted to do, she would call the general election now, having lost her mandate.
We standing with you.
The PNM would capture 8 corporations: Arima, Diego Martin, Point Forte, Port of Spain, San Fernando, Samoa Lavantil, Sangre Grande, and Tunapuna Piaco.
We expect to get 2 of them in, so very likely later this week we will also be declaring Chabonas a People's National Movement for the first time in the history of Trinidad and Tobago.
Later, Dr. Rowley would tell supporters it is now time to look toward a general election.
At the level of the constituencies, I want to put you on notice that very soon we will be calling for nomination for the general election in certain constituencies.
This picture would ensure the moment is never forgotten, and a smile from the opposition leader that may very well last for some time to come. Chester Sembrano, CNC 3, Balize House, Port of Spain.
Well, Prime Minister Kamla Drunk is today promising to work with all the winners in yesterday's local government election. The People's Partnership won 5 out of 14 corporations. Speaking to supporters at her constituency office last night, Mrs. Drunk assured that people would get the representation they deserve.
Whoever is won, tomorrow morning, my government, all of us, we will vote for you. Why? Because we want to ensure that every citizen is represented. We want to ensure we work with everyone. Guess why? This is not about party and politics. This is about the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And now I say, this is about every one of you. I will continue to work for you. That's what I tell you. I will fight for you. I will continue to fight for you. I will work for you. And I will die for you. Understand that? Because you know why? You know why? Everything I do, everything in my life that I do it for you. Every single wonderful.
And Mrs. Drunk told the crowd that they have much to celebrate.
Tonight I declare, in our heartland, in our baseline, thanks to every single one of you here tonight. Thank you, sir. Hope. Viva Timothy Taibara, home! Shagonas, home! And guess where? Sapara!
A warning today from interim leader of the ILP, Jack Warner, that the People's Partnership government is losing ground and will lose the next general election. That is unless the partnership government considers joining with the third major force in this country, the ILP. In a one-on-one interview with CNC3 last night, Mr. Warner opened up about the ILP's loss at the local government polls, and he told me that the PNM may have won, but is now in for the biggest fight of its life.
So you're disappointed in any way? Oh, listen, you are disappointed because you have achieved the objective, but then you have much to be thankful for.
The Independent Liberal Party set its sights on 3 municipal corporations, among them the Shagwanas Borough. On Monday, the ballots reflected a resounding loss for the 4-month-old party.
Based on the numbers we have seen, we got the highest number of popular vote, and that is important.
Speaking with CNC3 at the ILP's headquarters on election night, Mr. Warner admitted the ILP could have done better.
Members just did not buy the message.
And he told us why.
I know why in Shagwanas I had problems. Because almost every other house in Philly City was given a government contract, was given food cards and so on. And those are things that I can't give.
But the interim leader says the election results show the newly formed party is gaining ground.
I hope the PM doesn't use this as any yardstick to believe that they're very popular. On the contrary.
Mr. Warner says this local government election went in favor of the People's National Movement, but is warning the PNM's councillors that the battle has only now begun.
Based on the kind of vindictive government we have, they start them for funds, they frustrate them, but at the end of the day, if they do that, they will not win the next term.
And Mr. Warner says he's willing to help the partnership government maintain its position.
They could change that if they want in the next 15 months with a hard fight. Right. But as we stand here, they will not win next term.
But do you think with the ILP that they may be able to win the next term?
Only with the ILP. And that is why we are important as a third political force.
Ria Rambly, CNC3. Well, the Congress of the People is now evaluating its membership in the People's Partnership government after losing all its corporations in the local government elections yesterday. Speaking via telephone on the Morning Brew today, COP Deputy Political Leader Lincoln Douglas said the party has always tried to keep the government together but has been under pressure from its supporters.
Whether it's reform, referenda, proportional representation, all of these, forward-thinking, advanced developmental concepts are those of the ideas of the Congress of the People, and we continue to make those known to the community. I must say, though, in a lot of ways, our people have challenged us about the vehicle that we're using to make those known, which is the partnership, and that is something that we will have to consider.
Dr. Douglas said the COP faced an uphill battle from the start of the local government elections.
Well, we were aware going in that it was a difficult proposition. I mean, our party is coming up against primarily in the PNM and mostly of their stronghold area. And we were aware also of, of the challenges of this administration in terms of convincing the public about what we have done as an administration in terms of the works that we have delivered. And that was challenging for the people to accept. And so in a lot of ways, what has happened has expressed the views of the Trinidadian public as it relates to their perception of our administration.
And MSJ leader David Abdullah says his party has paid the price because of the public disenchantment with the People's Partnership government. The MSJ failed to capture any seats in yesterday's local government elections. Speaking via telephone on the Morning Brew today, Mr. Abdullah said what people simply did was vote for the PNM as opposed to the government.
I think that what happened in the last few days of the election was that the mood of the area areas where we were contesting, and we were essentially contesting in areas that have been traditionally controlled by the PNM, that moving those areas against the partnership meant that electors in those areas decided that they would, vote out the partnership or vote against the partnership, and therefore they went back to the PNM in that sense.
Mr. Abdullah says the results at the polls show a return to tribal politics in this country. We now take a very short break. We have sport news for you and weather when we return. Stay with us.